Thank you. I'd like to bring up Ilana Mittleman.
Hi, I'm Ilana. I'm going to talk about the Kidney Disease Aging Research Collaborative, or KDARC, which is a partnership to address research gaps in geriatric nephrology. And we receive our funding from the NIH. So 40% of all older adults in the US have kidney disease, which includes chronic kidney disease, end-stage kidney disease, and people who have received kidney transplants. And these individuals have a higher prevalence of depression, frailty, cognitive impairment, and multimorbidity compared to the general population. And this population is underrepresented in research, and this results in suboptimal care. And nephrology research, which is research of kidney disease, it's often thought of as a one-size-fits-all, but older adults have unique needs. And then we have three main barriers to geriatric nephrology research that have been identified by experts in the field. The first is organizational barriers. So a lot of the times there are organizational barriers that prevent people across institutions from collaborating. We have investigators who are kind of siloed within their own institutions, who might be doing research that's similar to other researchers at other institutions and aren't aware of it. And then we have the absence of research priorities. So for nephrology research, there are priorities that have been identified just generally, but they're not specific to older adults. And then we have data barriers. There are a lot of research studies that have focused on nephrology populations, but they don't have specific outcomes of geriatric outcomes. And then we conversely also have a lot of studies that are focused on older adults, but they have underrepresentation of people with chronic kidney disease. And then for smaller studies, it's hard to kind of compare data across different smaller studies. It's hard to pool the data together. So the solution was KDARC, which is the Kidney Disease Aging Research Collaborative. It was founded in 2022 by two researchers, McAdams-DeMarco, who's now at NYU, an epidemiologist, and Dr. Rasheeda Hall, who's at Duke, and she's a nephrologist. And in 2024, we received funding from NIA to do a 5-year infrastructure program to further develop KDARC. The first 2 years were the development phase, and then following 3 years were the application phase. We're currently in year 2, and really the overall goal was to develop an interdisciplinary collaborative research. We have a very diverse group of members. We have over 60 people across 30 institutions, more than 30 institutions throughout the US and Canada. And these are faculty at the different institutions. You can see that we have a lot of people focused on adult nephrology, but we also have other areas, including palliative care, epidemiology, and then we have a sliver there that also includes other. We have social workers, people are focused on family medicine, internal medicine, and then we have some individual members who have dual certifications. And as part of KDARC, we've developed 4 cores to address the barriers. So there's workforce development, there's research, patient engagement, and measurement core. The first is the workforce development core, which we developed to address organizational barriers. KDARC, we meet on a monthly basis, which brings people together over Zoom to share updates on their research and get feedback from others. And as part of this, we've also initiated some leadership skills training. As further along in our process, in our grant, we're going to be creating a mentoring program to bring people together. And we're also in the process of developing a tool to help researchers decide on an appropriate journal, deciding if their research is more geriatric or nephrology focused and what would be the right journal to apply to. So next is the research core, which was developed to address research priorities. We started out with a Delphi study, which was sent to experts in the field to identify the top priorities within nephrology research. And this was sent out. It was through a series of 3 rounds of voting. And the 3 topics that were identified were frailty, treatment decision-making, and palliative care. And now we're doing scoping reviews, looking at the literature that exists to further understand the gaps in research that exist within these specific topics. And we're also going to then later, we have pilot funding for KDARC members to develop projects that will address these gaps. Next is the patient engagement core, which is focused on the patient. And they developed a survey that we sent out to researchers, mainly people who are working more directly with older adults, to better understand what some of the challenges are in recruiting and retaining older adults with kidney disease in research. And we made sure that this was sent to the people who are really like on the ground working directly with older adults, as opposed to the PIs who were maybe developing the studies. And then we also asked about what strategies that they've implemented to overcome some of these challenges, and we're going to develop that into a best practices manuscript. And I kind of like to think of this as meta research. It's research on research within the research collaborative. Yeah. And the final core is the measurement core. And they've developed 2 resources that are helpful and available to the public. The first is a longitudinal cohort study crosswalk, which looks at various studies. Some are focused on older adults, some are focused on kidney disease, and creates a data harmonization for geriatric and nephrology constructs so that researchers can use the different data sets. And second, they've created an aging measure toolbox, which lists different measures of frailty, details on use, studies that have validated them, and limitations. And this was based on the research that we did through the research core on the frailty scoping review. So in summary, KDARC's approach to creating models for research, engaging with patients, and developing an interdisciplinary workforce can serve as a model for tackling research gaps and improving patient outcomes in other disciplines, including various chronic diseases. And some questions that you can consider about your field or discipline. What are barriers to research? Are the existing gaps in knowledge and research clearly identified and prioritized? What factors might contribute to patient hesitancy to participate in research studies? And if there's no gold standard for measurement, what is known about the validity and reliability of instruments that are commonly used? And I'd like to thank the CSTAR team, and also wanted to share this resource for the KDARC website, which has more information about us and also has those